All right.
All right. Welcome, Londonderry Impact X Performance Fit family. So we are gathered here today to talk about why Janice and I are taking the extra initiative to share with our members these Make Wellness bioactive precision peptides more than any other products that we've talked about before. As you've heard about the buzz, you've heard about people trying the products, getting results. So I know you're here to learn. We're going to talk about 6 different products as part of 2 different collections. And then we're going to open it up for comments and Q&A. So just real quick, obviously, you know Janice and I. Melanie Hebert, spelled Herbert or Hebert, but it's pronounced Hebert. She's a busy mom. Thank God she's taken the peptides, because if you think I have energy, that woman has impressed me. She's a journalist and was a news anchor for 11 years, as well as an entrepreneur. And she's been with Make Wellness since the inception. As you can imagine, being a journalist and researcher, she does a really great job, and she has for me and for others in communicating and breaking down what's typically complicated information, bioactive precision peptides, and making it just easier, more easily digestible, no pun intended. I mean, if you're considering pharmaceuticals, a lot of people have heard about the pharmaceutical grade weight loss alternatives out there, injectables that are expensive and inconvenient. Or maybe you or somebody you know have taken them and don't want to continue, or you've considered and you're apprehensive. If you're looking to lose fat while build muscle, which seems to be impossible for a lot of people, they think it's impossible to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. It's super important to preserve as much lean tissue as possible. Melanie will talk about that. All of the experts, Janice is always listening to podcasts. We always hear her coming in this podcast, that podcast, myself included. You hear about Dr. Huberman, Sean Stevenson, all the top researchers and podcasters in this field, in this space, are talking about how muscle is the organ of longevity. So it's not just about looks, and muscle looks good and helps you perform, but it actually is the organ of longevity and health, even brain health. So if you're looking to get a grip on that food noise and reduce cravings, maybe reduce stress hormones, cortisol, feel more energized, especially for like part 2 of the day, or maybe even part 1 of the day, or looking for better performance, more stamina, better sleep. I mean, the list goes on. Then this is going to be a great thing for you to listen in on. For me, when I first heard about Todd Durkin introduced us initially, Melanie introduced Todd Durkin introduced us to Melanie. And what really hit home for me was I heard clean ingredients. A lot of times when I hear clean natural ingredients, I'm always like, well, do they perform? Things like that. But they actually have a never list of ingredients that could be disruptive to hormones and health, and toxic to our health, that they have a list that they're committed to never put in any of their products, which really, caught my attention. Something that helps people drop fat without losing muscle also caught my attention. There's clinical studies that Melanie will get into, which also hit home for me, and I know Janice. That was really important to Janice. My own personal improved performance, which I've shared with a lot of people. I've improved my strength. I mean, quantifiable results, like as far as the distance I'm running, the speed I'm running, and the amounts that I'm lifting and how quick my recovery is, and then even my body fat. The other thing I really loved about these products is it's super comprehensive. So instead of taking something from this line and something from that line, it's a lot of the things that people come to, and I get messages about almost every single day. It seems like these Make Wellness bioactive precision peptides fill a lot of the problems that people are sharing with me. And there's nothing like it on the market. So I will be quiet now. Janice, maybe if you want to speak.
Yeah, I'll just take 2 seconds. Well, never take 2 seconds, do we really? But I do like to just, you guys know I've been a nurse for over 35 years, and I'm really involved and deeply involved in like health and wellness, right? So I just wanted to take a moment to just say why this conversation is so important right now. As Tricia said, the GLP-1s that are out there, there's been a rise in the market out there. They were originally developed for type 2 diabetes. They've quickly become the weight loss drug, right? And I guess while they can be effective, because we have seen that for sure, there's a concerning trend in this area, right? People are relying on these more for, without really understanding like the long-term effects of them. And so, like Tricia just said, like muscle loss is a huge. I had a woman last night come in, 95 pounds she lost. She's been on one of the GLP-1s. She's had weight loss surgery. People are just looking for what feels like quick fixes. And muscle loss, huge muscle loss, deflated balloons. It's the last thing we want. Muscle is that organ of longevity. Malnutrition, another one. Metabolic disorders. So these are just some of the unintended consequences of these drugs. And so Tricia and I, again, our mission has always been, sustainable wellness, right? And so there's just no quick fixes here. We're not looking for a quick fix, and that's why we've invited Melanie. We've learned about these products in a fairly short period of time. The science, though, is there. I've been one, Tricia knew this from the beginning. I'm like, I got to take the product before I can talk about the product. So I've been on the product for a month. I feel good. I feel like, I haven't been able to exercise as much with my shoulder and all that's going on, but I feel more lean. I'm going to do my measurements in 2 weeks. So I'm just waiting. But these are designed to really work with your body. And so I'm super excited. It's an alternative for people that are looking for that edge. So thanks, Melanie, for coming on.
Yeah.
You're
Thank you,
welcome. And
Janice.
you know what I'm gonna do? Okay, I have these Make Wellness water bottles at my house. There are 5 people, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna send these to you guys in Londonderry to make up for the time that I took from you in figuring out the
Mm.
technical difficulties. Because I want to respect everybody's time, and I certainly don't like when that happens. So and it's never happened to me, like I said. So there's a first for everything. So you'll get a prize for that. Anyway, yeah, Janice, I really appreciate what you said because that's so true, and it's really where I start. I'll actually, if you guys want, I will just give the brief overview of what makes bioactive precision peptides different, and then I'll just go straight into the products if you want me to go ahead with that.
Perfect. I
And
was going to
yeah,
ask you to say.
and I have 3 kids, and I was a journalist, a news anchor for more than a decade, and all over the country. And so in settling down in entrepreneurship, this was a great opportunity to provide something, be really in the vanguard of this movement that people don't even know about yet. So you guys are among the first people in the United States to hear about this. It's catching on quickly, but it's really gone under the radar in the United States for the past several years because what happened was our founders discovered this lab in Ireland. They really went on a search for, can you see that? Can you see that screen right there? Okay. They really went on a search for holistic solutions across the world because a lot of you probably know Europe has
Yep.
different standards in nutrition and food than the United States does, and we're really wakening up. Our whole country is wakening up to the fact that we have garbage in our food and what processed food can do for you. And so the founder of this company in Ireland called Nuritas. I would write that down and look it up. Nuritas. Nuritas is the name of the lab. And here it is, Nuritas. So the founder of this company, she's been talking about how the answers to a lot of what ails us are in plants and in the foods that we eat for a couple of decades. And I think people thought she was crazy in the beginning. She's done multiple TED Talks. Her name is Nora Caldy. And I've really done a deep dive. I'm fascinated by her. So she founded this company, Nuritas, and when our founders went on this global search to find holistic solutions, they ran into this lab and met with Dr. Nora Caldy. And they said, why doesn't the world know about this? We have to bring this story to the United States. What they're basically doing is using AI technology to identify and isolate these bioactive peptides. Now, you might think you've heard of peptides because uh, Tricia and Janice were mentioning Ozempic and semaglutide, the injections for weight loss or other injections. But the ones that are really on trend right now and probably the most common household names are Ozempic, semaglutide, tirzepatide, all those that people are taking to lose weight when 40% of that weight is actually coming from muscle instead of fat. So it's a huge concern because that leads, as Janice alluded to, that leads to many problems later in life that people don't realize and even diseases. So the difference in what natural peptides are, or bioactive peptides from nature, and synthetic peptides that it's probably all you've heard of so far as synthetic. They're made in a lab. They have to be injected in order to be absorbed in the body because they're synthetic, because they're not produced in your in by nature. So when if you were to ingest them, they would break down in the body, they wouldn't absorb. That's why they have to be injected. That's why people take those shots. And yes, of course, they work to lose weight, but with all those other side effects. So it's a real problem long term with all that muscle loss. So there are bioactive peptides in plants and in foods, and actually in our bodies. We have about 7,000 bioactive peptides in our bodies. And what they are basically is a chain of amino acids, and they work as messengers in your body. This is much different from like a supplement or a vitamin. Bioactive peptides are the messengers that tell your cells how to react. I mean, the science behind it is truly fascinating, and I can send you tons of stuff if you're really into it. But if you were breastfed, then that was your first exposure to peptides, for instance, because peptides were in your mother's breast milk. Now, in nature, there are trillions of peptides in plants and in the foods that we eat, but you can't just eat the plant or eat the food and get the same benefits. So what this lab in Ireland has done, and like top of its game, I mean, it's highly funded with venture capital money. And for the past 10 years, they've been running these clinical trials, double-blind, third-party human clinical trials. I know, Janice, you were a nurse. Anybody who works in the medical field understands the value of double-blind, third-party human clinical trials, especially for most of the 10 years. And so the results are proof that not only are they able to they figured out, because of this AI technology, how to find the peptides that will work together in certain formulas and extract them in very complex manner so that they're not broken, and then produce precise results. They literally signal certain areas of your body. It's not like a blanket treatment where you're hoping, you get what your body's missing. If you are void of focus, if you need focus, you take the peptide for focus, and it triggers that cell. I mean, it literally is a cell signaling peptide. It's truly fascinating. Burns fat, increases muscle, and I'm going to go over all that. But the difference between bioactive, which is nature, all natural peptides, and synthetic, you can just see right here: laboratory made synthetic. Ours are nature made. Synthetic is injectable. As I said, ours are ingestible. They come in capsules and powders. The laboratory mades or synthetics are pretty expensive. I mean, I know we had a cousin taking Ozempic, spending $600 a month for Ozempic if insurance doesn't cover it. And also, they're becoming harder to get. The compound pharmacies are having a hard time now because the FDA is restricting a lot of them. And I mean, there's a reason why they're controversial. And they usually have to be given through medical supervision, either through supervision or a doctor, or someone that a doctor has approved to give the shot. So that's what makes us so different. Now, I told you about the lab in Ireland, this lab Neuritas. Well, this is really the baby of this lab Neuritas. Can you hear that? This is called Fit. I think that this product, of the 6 products we launched in the fall in a pre-launch period. So we officially launched this company in March. So you guys seriously are among the first people in the United States to hear about this. It's going to be huge. It's going to be a household name. I went straight to the most credible people I know, like Todd Durkin in fitness, who understand peptides, like medical professionals. I have a doctor from the Dr. Oz show. I have a lot of high level doctors who, really understand the science behind this. And I went straight to them and I said, do you want to be a part of this? We're launching it. We're really just spreading the word and building this foundation because this is going to be huge globally. Well, this is the product here that I call our hero product. Of the 6 products we have, I think everybody should be on Fit. It's probably going to be the one that's most relevant to you guys as well, caring about your muscle mass and understanding how important muscle mass is. Not only does it help to build or to maintain lean muscle and build lean muscle, but it's going to increase your NAD levels. It's going to decrease inflammation. It helps with muscle recovery. It is 4 times the amount of protein synthesis as whey protein and 5 times the amount of creatine. So this product right here is incredible. We have an exclusive agreement with that lab, Neuritas. That is really the reason why we have this product Fit. And so that's what makes specifically make wellness so special. I think everybody who's 20 or 18 years old, or maybe even younger, to 100 years old should be on fit. And once we turn 30, we lose our muscle mass every year. We lose a little bit of muscle mass. It's very difficult, even if you're in the gym every day, to maintain that amount of muscle. And as Tricia said, it's really the key to longevity, to living a long and healthy life. And it's also linked to even brain health. So in our clinical trials, which we can also direct you to if you're interested, but we saw 47% less fatigue with a return to higher than baseline strength levels with fit. As I said, 4 times the amount of protein synthesis as compared to whey protein, which has typically been like the gold standard, right, when it comes to protein. 103, let me put this up, 103% strength um, recovery versus 68% compared to whey, and then 54% increase in performance. Again, this is all based on human clinical trials, double blind, third party, unbiased studies, basically, that check all the boxes for the medical professional. So this is the one that you all want to be on. Everybody you love in your life should be on fit. It really is a miracle product in my opinion. All right. The next one is for people who want to lose weight. This is the one people call nature's Ozempic, and I won't spend as long on all the other ones. I think fit is just so important. Not everybody will want to lose weight, but rather than taking the shots, they can take lean, or they can transition off of the shots and take lean instead. A lot of people don't want to take the shots, but this one is it's about $89, I think. Fit is $107 on subscription. You want to be on a subscription service because it's free shipping and 10% off. There's no cost for subscription. And as long as you're spending $100, you're eligible for subscription. But we do offer collections, and that's really the best way. If you're looking to lose weight and gain lean muscle, you want to get it through a collection. So lean would come in the muscle and metabolic collection with fit. So what lean does is it's going to balance your leptin and your ghrelin, your hunger and satiety hormones. So you will see an instant, or feel an instant difference there, because you're not going to want to eat as much throughout the day. And when you do eat, you will feel full quicker. So you can focus on eating nourishing foods. You're not going to have that sweet tooth. If you have a sweet tooth like me and you want to, I work from home, so I'm working right off of my kitchen, and typically I snack all day long until I started taking lean. I take 2 in the morning. There's a drastic difference there, and it actually helps to burn fat. And here's what the clinical studies show. It's 6% body fat that people are losing, but boom, zero muscle mass, none at all. That's the biggest difference from the injections. So that's huge. And it was almost all visceral fat, in that trunk area. So this one right here is very popular. And then hydrated rounds out that muscle and metabolic collection of the 2 collections we carry. That's the muscle metabolic collection is the most popular, again, for people who want to lose weight and gain lean muscle. So you have the fit we talked about, you have the lean we talked about to lose weight, and then the hydrated is what we call a support product in that collection. It's not peptides. We have 2 support products of the 6. So 4 are peptides and 2 are support products. What hydrated does, it contains electrolytes. Most of us need more than water to stay hydrated throughout the day. It has sea salt from the Great Salt Lake, full of minerals, and it's going to make sure that your cells are hydrated so that the peptides can work at their optimal levels. Because if your cells are dehydrated or stressed, and let's be honest, most of us are dehydrated and stressed, then the peptides won't be able to work at their optimal levels. So that's why we want you to have the best results as part of that collection. Then the second collection and the final is the mind and motivation collection. So we start that with Energized. This is a powder that you mix with your water. I take this first thing in the morning. I actually mix this with Hydrated, which is also a powder. So I mix both Energized and Hydrated into my water in the morning. Oh, and look, you could do that with your new water bottle that I'm going to send you guys. I drink it out of this bottle, and it takes the place of my morning coffee. Here's why. It has ginseng peptides. It is a clean, sustained caffeine release, a very slow, sustained caffeine release that lasts throughout the day, that helps with both mental and physical energy. This is much different from store-bought, or if you go into a convenience store and you buy those horrible energy drinks off of the shelves. Those overwork your adrenal glands. That's why you get really jittery when you take them. If you're like me, you tried them in college, to stay up and study, and then they burn out your adrenal glands. So you have that pop and drop effect, like you have a crash basically. This is nothing like that, and it does make you feel really energized, but also clean. And there's no extreme, there's no extremity of the pop and drop. So this is a real popular product. And it also helps really with your increasing your alertness uh, as well, meaning your mental your mental level of energy, not just your physical level of energy. So then the focus peptides, this is full of ginkgo and it's a capsule. You take one in the morning, and I take this as well. I actually take all 6 products. But the focus is going to help you get real dialed in. It supports your memory. It reduces normal anxiety and will enhance your cognitive performance. It actually also helps with effects of blue light. If you're on screens throughout the day, it's going to help your eyes. So we have had so many people I mean, you can go into the Facebook groups and see the testimonials from our customers. We have so many people get off of ADHD medicine with a combination of focused and energized and calm, which I just took right as the Zoom was stressing me out. I took a calm. I had it sitting right here, and you see now I feel so relaxed. But we can't make any medical claims, and I can't say that this would allow you to get off of ADHD medicine, because also there's a wide spectrum of people who have ADHD symptoms. But what I can tell you is repeatedly we've heard people who really wanted to get off of prescription medicine because of the side effects, or they just didn't want to be on prescriptions, and they've been able to successfully do that. And then the Calm, to round out the mind and motivation collection. The Calm is our second support product. So again, this doesn't have the peptides, but what it does is lowers your cortisol levels, which of course is your stress hormone. I take this usually before the kids come home from school. I have 3 kids. They're 12 and 7 and 5, and I'm all over the place, which is why I'm in a parking lot right now doing the Zoom. But I couldn't say no to Tricia. I love Tricia. I love her energy. I love Janice. I love Londonderry, and I haven't even gotten to go over there yet. So I knew that this was a partnership that I was going to be really excited about. So I love Calm, and this one is more. If you saw me take it right before we started this Zoom, it's direct to tongue. That's the only one. You put it. You don't mix it with water. You just put it directly on your tongue like a pixie stick. If you remember pixie sticks. So those are the 6 products. Now, of course, you can get all of them if you want all of them. Like I take all of them. That's where you'll actually get the biggest discount. But as I mentioned, we like to encourage you to invest in collections, because the products are meant to work synergistically together to get the best results. So that's why they shave the price off if you do get a collection. So all the way to the right, that's that muscle and metabolic collection that we went over first. That's $224.97 for all 3 of those products. That was lean for muscle. And remember, that's the one you want to stay on forever. You want to take it every day. And that's really your maintenance to continue to maintain and build lean muscle, increase NAD levels, all of that we discussed. It also has the lean to lose weight, and then the hydrated to stay hydrated. So really, everybody should be on the lean and the hydrated. Those 2, I think, is like a non-negotiable. The rest of them are as you know as you feel like you need them. Mind and motivation is 161 for all 3 of those products. That's a 1-month supply. And then the peak performance is if you want all 6 of those products. And I will say this, Tricia, I know we're not talking very much about the business opportunity, but I will say that sometimes people look at that 386 and they think, wow, I really want to be on everything, because these are all common concerns for people, and sort of like a wish list to be on all of it at the same time. So I'll just throw this idea out there. We do have an opportunity where you could earn about $500 a month, which, what is enough to pay for your products, and then also have some spending money. And that would be if you had about 13 customers on an average size order, which is about $150. Then you could, easily pay for your products, have some spending money, also get some product credit. If you want to set up an affiliation with us, that is a possibility, and it's free to do that. So just wanted to throw that out there in case some people would like to make enough to pay for their products. So that's it.
Wow. That's a lot. I do have a couple questions, but
Yeah.
first I'll just see if anybody in the audience has a question. Any questions? No. Okay. So do these collections or the products work for everybody? Like, what has your experience been as far as results, or people
Yeah.
that have claimed to maybe they don't work for them?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it actually reminds me to say something else too. I would never say that any product, whether it's prescription or non-prescription, works for 100% of the people. I have not heard anybody yet. I mean, I've been working on this since August. It actually maybe I've heard maybe 2 or 3 people say that the lean didn't work, but I'll tell you what, they only were on the lean for 1 month. They didn't try it again, and this was sort of in the beginning before we knew really all the information. I always now like to set up proper expectations and tell people that if you wanna lose weight, then you plan to give it 12 weeks, because our clinical trials were done over a 12 to 20-week period. So if you think you're gonna come in and lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks, you're gonna be disappointed. Although some people do see very quick results in a couple of weeks, but that's a very small group of people, and we call them hyper responders. I actually happen to be a hyper responder, so I was pretty happy with that. But then other people really take the full 12 weeks to show slow and steady progress. And another thing we have learned to teach everybody is not to look at the scale. In 3 months from now, look at the scale, but don't measure your progress along those 12 weeks on the scale, because you could have 2 people weigh the same 150 pounds, one's full of fat and one's full of muscle. What we want you to do is focus on your body composition. We want your body fat to go down and your muscle mass to go up. That's what's important, and the only way you'll know that until you start to really feel the difference in your clothing and feel lighter, because that will happen. The only way you'll know that is to get your body composition read, which I know you can do at Impact X Performance, so at IXP. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they work for 100% of the people, but I think if you give it 12 weeks for the body, for the muscle mass and the fat loss, I think you'll be more than likely you'd be happy. I mean, I really haven't seen anybody who's given it 12 weeks who has said it doesn't work. I mean, they're life changing, and where you'll really see the difference is in fitting in your clothes differently. I mean, I'm fitting in clothes. In fact, this shirt that I have on was a very special shirt from Thailand, and I had stored it away just because that trip was very meaningful to me. I think it was 15 years ago. I never thought I'd fit in it again, and it's just among several articles of clothing that I'm able to fit in. Again, even though I only lost 1 pound on the scale, my body composition went down from 17.4% to 14.1% in 2 months. So I was pretty happy with the results. So that was a great question.
Yeah, and as you know, we are taking everybody that's getting on the peptides, we're doing their measurements, including their body fat, so that we can measure that body composition. I have another question, but Janice, if you wanted to ask something, you can have a turn. No?
I didn't have anything to ask, but I love that, the scale. I had somebody last night, they weren't on the peptides, but guys, especially women's on this call here, it is absolutely not about that number. I call it the confessional when you come in and, stand at that scale, because some people cry and whatever. But last night had somebody in there who was just like, I don't know, they're doing the small group, and I'm not moving the scale, but gosh, my clothes fit so much better. I'm like, all right, let's do your body fat right now. So her body fat went down 2.5% from the last time we did it. But, so all of a sudden she's like, oh, that's much better. So we got to stop this whole scale thing. It really, just like Melanie said, you got 150-pound, 2 people, one's got, 10% body fat and the other's got 40%. It's not the number, it's the body fat. And that's what's really, really important. And that's what the synthetic GLP-1s are doing is great. We see the number go down and people are like, yeah, that's great. No, it's not. It's not. The number one killer of women over 70 is a broken hip. All right. And it's because we don't have muscle mass. We fall and break a hip. We got bone density issues. We got a lot of things. Muscle, it's protective. We got to build it.
And
Well,
I built. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say those synthetic ones that like everybody, right, is everybody's talking about also too, right? You have people see a lot of weight loss, but I want to say, as soon as they go off it, right, it's right back, you're right back there. So it's
and
not
gaining that weight back as more fat.
Yeah.
Even muscle.
Yeah.
Like it's a snowball.
Yeah,
Then
I
you
just,
have the Ozempic face is what they call it, because what happens is when you lose so much weight so quickly and you're not building up, you don't have the proper amount of protein and you're not building up the muscle, that it becomes saggy skin. You know, and they're actually talking about it all over network news now. I've seen it on the Today Show, and I've been pulling clips and posting them in stories that have nothing to do with Make Wellness. Just the research that's coming out to educate people now is so important.
Yeah, it's kind of like the gastric bypass, same thing. Like, and I'm not saying like there isn't reasons for people to
Right.
do certain things when we're talking about, but when we're talking about, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, like there's no reason to do such drastic measures, we just gotta, it's hard work, right, guys? We're fitness. We gotta work at it, but it's what our bodies were meant to do, so.
Well, and
Yes.
since you guys are all at the gym working out probably every day, I don't think I mentioned that the people who are really working out, where they're really seeing and feeling the difference in fit, is they're able, repeatedly telling us, they're able to lift so much more
Mm.
and do so much more. Their endurance is higher. They're able to run faster or further. I mean, this is what we're seeing from the people who are really already working to build muscle in the gym the hard way. Listen, this is my confessional. I have only worked out one day since I have started, officially in a gym. And it was when the day that I went to San Diego to speak to Todd Durkin's mastermind, and he said, "You're coming with us to work out at 6:30 in the morning." I said, "Yes, sir." And I did the whole hour-long workout. Now, I was a dancer for most of my life. So I mean, I have had a passion for for my body and staying physically fit. But in the phase of life where I am, I just haven't been able to make it a priority, and shame on me, and I will. But my point in telling you that is my muscle mass still went up just on the peptides. So if you guys are, just imagine, once I get in the gym, and I did join the gym, I just hadn't gone. And I'm starting next week. I'm starting next week.
We're
Um,
gonna hold you accountable.
I know. Well, and but I joined the gym across town, of course. And anyway, okay, I'm not going to get into that. But just my point is, just imagine that was without, truly, I wanted to see what just the peptides would do. If I didn't do anything else different, I didn't change my diet, I didn't work out, just because when I first started, I just wanted to see. So that's why I was able to lose that body fat and gain the muscle mass. And the owner of the gym is doing a double take. Like, are you kidding me? That's pretty impressive, when I was doing the in-body machine. So,
well, I originally last week, I think, talked to Tricia. I'm like, I want to try the lean. I want to stop the cravings, and stuff like that. And I was just gonna do lean because I'm like, I'll just start there. And then I was in DECA train, like a more intensive training on Saturday with Tricia, and I'm like, Tricia, what do I gotta do for endurance? Because I was tired, and she's like, fit. And I'm like, okay. So I did. I ordered both lean and fit. I haven't gotten them yet, but I'm excited.
Well,
glad.
I'll be the Melanie of the group, right? You guys know I'm gonna be having a shoulder replacement in a few weeks. So, like, as far as not working out, it's been a challenge for me. Just I'm in pain all the time. And so we'll see, right? I do feel a little bit more lean. I can't say that I am really working out. So we're gonna see how that goes. I'm getting ready for surgery, so I want to build that muscle. I want to have that endurance. And, I am trying to work out a little bit more, Tricia, don't worry.
Yes, I know.
Janice,
Getting ready for
we've
that.
had so many people I've had a handful of people who are friends of mine who just happen to have different surgeries over the past year since we've started this. And they've recovered, all of them, so much quicker than the doctors thought they would, and on fit. And so we attribute it to fit.
Yeah. So another question I have is, because people on this call and people that will be listening to the recording are going to ask, so the 6 different products, how do you take them and how do you mix and match? And I know the box tells you how you could take them, but I don't think that my gathering is that, and I know I probably do it a little different too, but is that there's not like one size fits all. Is that correct or incorrect? Because I'll take the fit in the morning. I work out in the morning, so I drink it, like, most of it before my workout, a little during, and then I like to have a little leftover for after my workout. And then before my first meal, take the lean, and then I'm taking hydrate first thing in the morning anyway. And then then I have like the afternoon is when I start to take Energize. It's like Energized gets me through part 2 of the day to stay focused. I take it with the focused. And I feel awesome like second half of the day, more so than before, because I get up really early. So before I'd be like, oh boy, okay, now we got to get part 2 of the day. I got to do the other stuff. You know what I mean? After being at the gym all day. And so that's how I'm taking it. But I hear you saying that you're taking the Energize in the morning. So is there a one size fits all?
No. In fact, there's a typical way most people start, and then we adjust on a case by case basis. So for instance, most people start lean, taking 2 in the morning, and that's what I recommend to most people. But some people find that they tend to snack more in the afternoon. And so maybe they want to divide up, take 1 lean in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, or take them both in the afternoon. But we really recommend that you start off taking both in the morning. Let's see how that goes, and then we can adjust it based on your experience. What I do is I take hydrated and energized first thing in the morning. That's taking the place of my morning coffee, and it makes me feel so much better because it's not dehydrated. It's not a diuretic, and it's not. I was feeling. I do like coffee and I like the smell, but I don't really want it anymore. Oh, come on. Okay, good. My daughter just got a dance class, so excuse me. I'm just going to tell her to get into the car. And then I take focus first thing in the morning, the 1 capsule focus, the 2 capsules of lean, and then I take come on in and just be quiet, please. And then I take 2 or I'm sorry, after lunch I take my fit, and that's what I'm drinking right now. Sometime in the afternoon. Sometimes I take 2 fit, and then I took my stick pack with me, the Calm. I usually have a stick pack of Calm with me,
I
and
have one of those on hand at all times.
I really do. This is Grayson. This is my daughter.
Hi.
She just got out of dance class.
Oh wow, because there's been days where I'm like, I want to take another fit. I just love it. Tastes like it reminds me of Tang for some reason.
You can, yeah, you can.
Yeah, so I'm like, I mean, what harm could it do? People have
do
to cup the coffee, and this is way better than coffee for you.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and so many people were having those midday crashes, where they're trying to get sugar in their body or some sort of they're trying to energize themselves through caffeine or something like that. And then not feeling great about it afterward. We'll talk after.
any other questions? I think
I gotta drop because I gotta go to
you have
the gym.
places to
Yeah.
be.
Hey, if you would Tricia, send me their addresses. So, or actually, I'll just send them to London Dairy.
Okay.
I'll send 5 water bottles to London Dairy for you
Okay.
guys. And
Thank you
again,
so much,
I'm sorry about that delay. And I
Appreciate it.
can't wait to hear your results.
Yes, of course we'll be sharing. If anybody is interested in talking about what might be best for them or just want to simply order, we have the link posted on the private Facebook page. I'll put it up there again with this video, the exact link, so you don't have to go looking for it. So thank you so much, Melanie. Thank you everybody for jumping on, or if you're listening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You, bye.